Well, good afternoon, race fans, and welcome to the Bullring at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It is the 2025 NX Asphalt Nationals practice day.
All right, first group of young lions to the racetrack. First group of young lions to the racetrack. Remember, no scuffing tires up the hill.
And as you hear our race director, Brad Hockaday, instruct the young lions to start making their way towards the racetrack. We had a morning practice session earlier, a little bit of a lunch break for those to take a small little break, and now we are back at it for the second half of our practice day. Nice shot of Bubbles Bronson up in the flag stand.
All right, drivers, welcome to round 4 of practice. We're going to do an 8-lap session here. Remember, after the checkered flag, everybody's in the infield. You do not take extra laps, so you get to sit around out. We've handed out penalties today, so don't be the next one, guys. We're going to be 1 to green right here. We'll be 1 to green right here. 11 car. We're coming back to green on you. 4, 8 laps.
And as you heard, Brad, there will be 8 laps for each of these groups in these practice sessions.
Green.
3 rounds earlier. The third round was a little bit shorter to try to squeak it in before the lunch session. And now we're back underway. These drivers practicing ahead of tomorrow's Profab qualifying day. As you see Danny Arnold on your screen. Lots of race cars here. I believe we're at or just over the 150 mark combined for all of these Legend cars. We do have some Bandoleros on the property as well that will have a feature during Championship Day on Saturday. And if you're joining us on Facebook, welcome into our practice show, or you might be joining us on YouTube. Drop a comment down below. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're cheering for. Let's be interactive on a Thursday afternoon. And be sure you hit that share button. Let your friends know you're watching some racing, and to see all the racing action here this weekend from Asphalt Nationals as we crown national champions on the asphalt oval side. Head to USLegendCars.tv as you see the first round of Young Lions on the racetrack, and they have quite a championship battle on their hands. Young Lions and semi-pros are going to be the barn burners here, but you got a tight points battle in the pro division between 2 very seasoned drivers, and you also have a great battle in the Masters division between a guy that did it last year and Kevin Rollins and Bill Clemens, who's won several championships in his racing career. But we'll talk about Masters when they come to the racetrack. Our plan today is to give you a little bit of each of these divisions so you can take a look at maybe how your favorite driver is doing, who is here this afternoon, and who will be ones to watch throughout the weekend as the 53 car of Lavelle makes their way across the line. Currently third in this first group as Keaton Harbison goes to position number 3. Currently it's Taylor Mayhew leading the field in practice as Mayhew heads into 3 and 4. That is one of our drivers that is tied for that national championship coming in. 3 drivers in Young Lions as the checkered flag flies in this first session. And Mayhew is currently on top after this group.
Turns out, once you take the checkered, exit to the infield.
So Taylor Mayhew, Brody Rhodes, and Ben Morabito are your top 3. As you take a look at Scotty Benford's number 51, that's back in the Dylan Spain Motorsports compound.
Next group of young lions to the racetrack. Next
Brody Rhodes in that division. There's Josh Lowe. So both Josh Lowe and Scotty Benford are part of the battle in the semi-pro division. We'll talk about them as Josh straps in for his 4th round of practice.
Semi-pro, you should be heading to station. Semi-pro, you should be
as the second group of Young Lions make their way to the racetrack. Wheel going on the 23 car.
All right, we'll be 1 to green right here. 1 to green right here on the 14. We're coming back to green. This will be in
Ryan Krugler is watching, cheering on Tim Skinner in the Masters division. beautiful looking car. Saw it earlier walking through the pits, and with this pit shot, so that is right off of turn number 1. There are cars scattered all throughout this pit area. When you get 150 or so of them, there's a lot to track down. As the 14 of Austin Stanky on the racetrack get their first return of a time on the clock, this time by across the stripe. And in behind there is car number 8. I believe that is Jaden Johnson in one of the wrap race cars. Going to be a busy weekend for the Johnson camp over there. A little sideways down into turn number 3. Had to chase that thing around 3 and 4. In behind the green 62 is Dylan Bongiovanni. Dylan has an opportunity to race for a championship this weekend. Only 12 points in behind that 3-way tie for the top spot. And there's the stat line: 16 wins, just missing those 2 full point wins, or 3 technically when you include 20 races, national qualifier, and all the fun things that go into getting that 1,900 point total going into the Asphalt Nationals. As these drivers getting their final couple of laps in this group for round 4 of practice. I want to say hello to Lawrence Lacey cheering on JD Industries. And Ivor Greenwood from Belfast, Northern Ireland. Good to have you with us as we have one around in turn number 1 and 2. That is the 68.
Out of the throttle the minute we call it.
That should be Wyatt Dent from Colorado in the 68, who gets to rolling one more time. Once again, if you're watching us on our social feeds, drop a comment below. Let us know that you're tuned in and watching practice day from the Bullring at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Let us know who you're cheering for, where you're tuned in from. It is a beautiful day here at the Bullring. I don't know if professional weather spotter Anthony Steffens has his weather report, but I can tell you it is nice and beautiful. Couple of clouds off the turn 3 area of this racetrack. There is the weather report: 80 degrees, sunny, humidity at 21, and a small little wind of about 8 miles an hour. Mr. Steffens on it this afternoon with the weather report. So it is practice day, but some of these drivers testing what they have, not only against the clock, but also against their fellow competitors. Look at that, maybe Brody Glaze in the 18 and Alex Pate in the 10 that are on our screen right now. Want to say hello to Justin Collison, who's watching from beautiful Cambridge, Ontario. We got a couple of Ontario representatives down here representing the province. We got Josh Davenport and the Bandolero. We got obviously Mitch Wright, that's going to be going for a national championship, Autumn Colors Classic winner. Willie Howell's going to be here as well. And I believe the Boundy Bando is also back in the pits as well.
Next group of Young Lions and last group of Young Lions. Next group and last group of Young Lions to the racetrack.
And there is the staging area, and there is a lot of cars and a lot of moving parts back there in the staging area. There is Mr. Brockhouse in car number 12 going for another national championship in the G&L number 12 with the blue wheels, blue rims on that race car. It looks sharp. In behind, looks like JT Poole in the 26.
There's only 1 to green here on the 16. There's only 5 of you on the racetrack. This is an
Henry in the 51. There's Cole Denton in behind them in the 46 as those cars roll a little bit closer towards the top of the staging area.
We're coming to green on the 16, and he's in turn 2.
So the final group of Young Lions in this 4th round of practice Rolling the green, there's the 16 of Carson Youngblood. Youngblood at turn number 4 will come to the green flag from Bubbles Bronson to get their practice session started. The 17 is also on the racetrack, and that is one of your title contenders. Ben Morabito in car number 17 also getting some laps in here. Currently Colton Hale at the top of the board in this practice over Spencer Bradshaw, Taylor Mayhew, Brody Whitbeck, and Mateo Pappas. And up to the top of the board goes the 45 of Colt Johnson. Johnson in the 45, one of the drivers out of the Donnie St. Hour's shop. Back there, Donnie's got 3 cars this weekend. And driver who, and a lot of these drivers took an opportunity to come out here last week and participate in the Bullring's weekly show. Colt Johnson holding a checkered flag at the end of that Legends race. A lot of the drivers came out just to use it as a test session. Some of these drivers came out to try to take away a trophy and a checkered flag heading in to this week and get some momentum. There is the 17 car on your screen, and Morabito is currently 7th quick in this session. He has maxed out at 1,900 points, 23 wins in 53 races. That is a total for sure. And Morabito trying to climb a little closer to the top of the board in this practice and currently in a position number 5. As they come out of turn number 4 and across the stripe. Ivor Greenwood wants to know, are they all MT09 cars? There is a mix of everything in this pit area. As far as I know, there's some MTs and some FZ09s, and there's a few others in this field as well. But with 150 race cars, there's a lot of combinations in this pit area. Todd Tolton cheering on Tim Skinner, Mitch Wright, and Willie Howells. As the checkered in this group falls. So that should be the final group of Young Lions.
All right, Young Lions, cross them out.
We have 26 drivers taking time.
You need to be in staging. Semi-pro and masters need to be in staging. Chargers, start thinking about it. Chargers, start thinking about it. Semi-pro and masters, you should be in staging.
So we are here for the next 2 days to crown not only national champions in this discipline, but also to crown, as you take a look at some feature winner stickers on Cole Denton's car. Tomorrow is Profab qualifying, so these drivers will have their time against the clock. They'll also run some heat races, and the top 20 from each of those divisions in their respective divisions after their qualifying and their heat races will lock in to Saturday's features. We'll talk about Saturday in a moment. Airtime approximately 12:30 Pacific. They will run around a practice before they go to qualifying, so around 12:30 Pacific. And then the Bassett fastest qualifier challenge at the end for those that want to partake in an extra race and try to pick up a trophy in that one. So your qualifying is key at a race like this, especially in a race that can be quite wild
coming green on the 12
sometimes.
Turn 1, coming green on the 12 and turn 1. This is an 8-lap session.
There's John Kelly at the front of the grid.
Green.
No quad today. He's working his quads. He's not on a quad. Look at that big smile on his face. That is a man who loves Las Vegas. So this is the first group of semi-pros. So these drivers on the racetrack getting their laps in. I see Bubbles Bronson is tuned in on the look-in from the flag stand, and he's got some dad jokes for us this weekend. We'll get to those as we go through. We're a fun group here at US Legend Cars TV. There's Ayrton Brockhouse in car number 12. Brockhouse down into turn number 3 and 4. Currently at the top of the board in this division, it is Chase Burgesson. Chatted with Chase a little bit earlier on. This is the division that there are 4 drivers that have maxed out in championship points. Brockhouse in the 12 being one of them on your screen. Burgesson, that's currently quickest in this session, being another one of the 4. There's JT Poole in the 26 car. No, I know we had a couple of fans asking about motor combinations. They went from an FZ09 over to an MT09 just recently, and so they're still trying to kind of learn the race car. This is the first time the JT's raced out here at the Bullring, so they are still trying to get the driver comfortable, try to figure out what they have in the race car, and right now JT Poole struggling just a little bit. In this group is currently 8th of 10 as they work around the final couple of laps. And this one, look at this battle right here. Is a little bit of bobbing and weaving going on through 3 and 4, trying to get by a couple of cars. That's Burgesson in the yellow fendered number 22C. He is a West Coast driver at heart. He knows his way around here, and if you're looking at that battle, you set it up on paper, home track advantage, you would have to think goes to Chase Burgesson, even though he's been doing some other stuff mixed in with the Legend car.
Check this out.
So Chase will complete his
infield. Next group, a semi-pro to the racetrack. Next group, a semi-pro to the racetrack.
And there are your 4 that have maxed out at 1,900 points. And then you've got a couple back there. This is probably the most moving parts. When we talk about a national championship race and trying to crown a champion, look back to Mitch Wright. 1882. So there's 18 points between the top 8. Cole Denton has a shot as well. You look at Scotty Benford in the 51 car that's tied for 5th. Only 3 points in behind.
We are 1 to green here on the 3 car. 1 to green.
Most of these drivers are here, I believe, in attendance. But we will see who is taking those practice laps and ultimately who makes an attempt to qualify here tomorrow during Pro Fabrication qualifying. And there's Young Lions. We just had the Young Lions session earlier. Mayhew, Rhodes, and Morabito with Bon Giovanni in 4th. Something major happened. Spencer Bradshaw has a shot at it as well. But again, all those pieces need to fall into line for Mr. Bradshaw to have an opportunity at a national title this weekend. This is group number 2 for the semi-pros. Currently, Hunter Jordan is the fastest driver in this division at a 16:71. Josh Lowe in 2nd. Cole Denton moving up the ladder to 4th. Nice look there at the 20 car as it comes by, and then in behind, a little bit of side-by-side. That's the 07 of Jared Torres to the bottom. Trey Daniels in the 3, and back in behind with the 68 of Kaylee Decker. Decker moved to 10th on that last lap. Drivers getting their laps in and moving around. Scotty Benford in the 51 moves to 8th. Jared Torres moves to 7th in the 07. And Cole Denton has moved to the top of the board at a 16:715, a 1,000th quicker than Hunter Jordan. That just goes to show the depth of talent in this field. There is the 46 car, the green and yellow 46. Denton this time by a little bit slower on lap number 5 of 8. Little sideways there. Got that thing a little bit loose in turn number 2. So final couple of moments for this group. There are a lot of semi-pro drivers here. There are over 40. So those B mains on Saturday will be key. Qualifying, only locking in the top 20 in the combined points between qualifying and heat race events. Will be key, and there's a couple of notes for Saturday on your screen. Top 20 in points locked in from Profab qualifying B mains and championship features. That is a 1:30 p.m. Pacific airtime.
Penalty there. You'll be missing round 5, sir.
And here is the Joe Ryan race cars camp we see on our screen.
Next group is semi-pro to the racetrack. Masters
Nathan
and
Williams,
Chargers, you should
got
be in
Bradshaw,
station.
there's
Masters
Riley
and Chargers, you should be in
Hutchins.
station.
Colton Hale was really quick in that Young Lions session. Always got to watch that 39 when Jacob is on the racetrack. Jacob and Nathan kind of maybe going over some notes, maybe kind of debriefing on the morning sessions earlier. And you can see staging right in behind. The Joe Ryan camp has a prime spot in the pit area right to the other side of staging.
This will be an 8-lap session.
And Gatlin Balby, we got a Bubbles Bronson fan in the Facebook chat. Todd Tolton wants to know, can you explain how the points work for the weekend if multiple drivers are maxed out? The tiebreaker is this race. We do have a clip with Bill Plemons that kind of explains it because he was involved in what was a championship battle with, being maxed out on points before. There's Bubbles Bronson on your screen. So it's simple. The tiebreaker is this race. So if you go out and you're maxed out at 1,900 points and you have a couple of other drivers maxed out at 1,900 points, or you end up tied with that number at the end of the day, the tiebreaker is your finish in this national championship feature. So not only is it huge to get out here and perform, you've got to do that because it may end up costing you a national championship if you're on the wrong side of the coin, as Zachary Onager in the 73 on your screen. As Zachary leads this pack around the racetrack, into the top of the board is Mitch Wright in the 21. There's Mitch Wright on your screen, right in behind. The B&G Towing entry, your Autumn Colors Classic winner from a couple of weeks ago at Peterborough Speedway. And he's been racing everywhere across the country, and obviously with the Ontario Legend Series up home, 14 wins in 44 races, 1882 on the points, so not maxed out, but with an opportunity. Comes in 8th in the national points. Needs a lot to happen, but with 40 semi-pros, there is a lot of moving parts throughout this weekend. Art Ruschenberg tuned in. Ryan Krugler, I wish all tracks had strict race directors like that. Brad Hockaday is one of the best in the business. And it's good to have Brad with us all season long this year in the national events for U.S. Legend Cars. Checkered flag is out on this group as they will pull it into the infield.
Checkers out.
Once again, if you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube on the social medias, be sure to drop a comment below. Hit that share button, let your friends know you're watching. So Bill Plemons Jr. has a couple of race cars here. I believe that may be Scott Mosley in that white car. I believe this one here in the gray car is Bill Plemons, as he is strapped in and ready to go. That's definitely Bill in that car. Little wave to us. Greg Earhart in behind. The Masters staged in the back. There's Doug Shelton in the 30 below. Got Matt Hillhouse in that orange 51 car. Josh Mullins in a red 21. Some of these drivers we see at many of these national events, whether it's Winter Nationals, Spring Series.
All right, well, 1 to green right here on the 22 at the start-finish line where lights out.
Rusty Young in the 88.
8-lap session, remember, checkered, and then exit to the infield.
And that's the top of staging, and off to the right of that shot would be your road onto the racetrack. There's a little bit of a break here, and then you can see right there, right where Brittany is standing by the wall, that is the chute to go towards the racetrack. And right off to the right of that shot is the road towards the tire barn. And John Kelly and everybody in tire management has been busy this weekend. They have the allotment of 6 tires to run. There is the folks at Hoosier Racing Tire off. That's off turn number 3, as you can see them practicing. See a Neil Doolin in the shot. One around in turn number 2.
Is out of the throttle. Stop scoring as soon as the yellow flag is called. I don't know what the point of racing back to the yellow flag is, but you better knock it off because it's going to find a penalty real quick.
Brad reminding these drivers about racing under the yellow or racing back to the yellow.
Let's line them up. We are green, 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 green.
And I believe that's Madeline Lang, and I think they had some issues with that 21 car in the very first practice of the morning, so they're trying to dial that thing back in. Madeline currently 39th on the board, but albeit this group only has 1 lap scored on the board. 43 semi-pros have taken time in this session. Here's Neil Doolin in the 79. Going to be chasing one of those slot machine trophies that they're going to be giving out at the end of the weekend. As these drivers start to get up to speed, Doolin last time by was 22nd quick. And moves up the ladder just a little bit there. Still 23rd for Doolin. And that is Bradshaw. A couple of Bradshaws there going by the speed shot. That's Sean Salazar in the 17. That's one of our national championship contenders. And Sean currently 7th. That is the driver from New Mexico with an opportunity, maxed out on points. Has an opportunity to pick up a championship. Ferguson in the 22 is 6th place overall in this practice as the final couple laps come in. Josh Lowe in the 23 is 5th. So some of our drivers that are fighting for this championship that are maxed out, Brockhouse is 14th of those 4. So Lowe, Ferguson, and Salazar 5, 6, and 7. And then back to Brockhouse in 14th. There's your look at 43 semi-pros that have been on the racetrack. Ryan Krugler wants to know, is he the same guy from Winter Nationals? Absolutely. Brad Hockaday has done all the national events this season. And closing off the season, like a lot of these drivers are here with the Asphalt Nationals at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Want to say hello to Brent Patterson, who is watching our practice coverage once again. We've got 2 days coming up here at the Bullring. Profab qualifying tomorrow, the Friday portion of Asphalt Nationals. And then on Saturday, we will be running the championship features. As you see, the Scott Anderson 32 car. That is the backup car Going to see Scott in the Masters. This is the Donnie St. Hours camp. You see Colt Johnson in the 45. As they are on the scale pads, going to work on that one. And there's Colton right there. Out of the car, debriefing with the crew. So working on that race car. Pretty quick so far for the 45. It looks like they have their race car dialed in. So take a look at the Masters points as they begin to roll towards the racetrack, and Bill Clemens has that lead over Kevin Rollins. So you've got a wealth of experience, tons of experience with Bill Clemens behind the wheel of the 15. And then you got Kevin Rollins, who was the national champion last year. So again, knows how to navigate one of these national events and end up with a national championship. And Darryl Stewart here as well. Good to see Darryl. Darryl's done some extra racing throughout this season. We saw him at the Spring Series and has an opportunity. If everything falls into place, it's 21 points between himself and Bill Clemens Jr. We should remind you that Bill Clemens is the Golden Masters leader as well for the drivers aged 50 and over. As these drivers getting their first couple laps in, Ryan Phipps in the 5. We've got 10 drivers on the racetrack now as they start to get their laps in. And Phipps currently at the top of the board. Nina Kick, James Price, Aaron Flett, and Greg Gresham. Currently your top 5. There's Gresham on your screen in that 24 car right in the middle, the orange-fendered, blue-bodied number 24. Little sideways in 3 and 4. Goes to the bottom side, does the 72. That is James Price. And out the opposite end of the racetrack, I know we got some Tim Skinner fans that are watching our look in. There's Tim Skinner in the 15. That is a beautiful-looking race car. And Josh Oman in the 00. Those two trying to find some speed. Tim Skinner currently 10th out of 10 cars, and Uman currently 9th. These drivers trying to find some speed and trying to find some speed together on the racetrack. Davey Hamilton Jr. is watching an absolutely open wheel showdown coming up on November 6th to 8th. They have added Legends and Bandoleros to that event, and car counts absolutely phenomenal. Hats off to Davey Hamilton Jr. and his crew. They are here at the Bullring on November 6th to 8th. You can watch that on the Speed Sport Network. As these Masters competitors are on the white flag lap. Kathy Doolin cheering on Neil Doolin, the real deal. And there's a shot at the open wheel showdown billboard on the back straightaway here at the Bullring.
Out. Checkers out.
Arthur Hess and Wayne Mason cheering on Tim Skinner.
Group of Masters.
And you would know that our wireless operator Steve back there would find something to have for a snack. The king of footlongs. So, just to let everybody know that's watching, our wireless camera is probably going to be down for the next 10 minutes or so. So I'm pretty sure that's where he's headed to.
Chargers and Pro, you should be safe.
We've got a second group of Masters. These are the drivers aged 40 and over.
Green, 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 green.
And the green flag flies on this group. Look at that. Again, he's found some food back there. I don't know what he's bringing us in the tower, but I'm sure he's going to bring us something. That is the great thing, though. We talk about this being the last race of the major race of the Asphalt Oval season. Obviously, Open Wheel Showdown will be here as a non-NX Point event in a couple of weeks' time, but it is not only the race cars, it's also the experience of being in a destination like Las Vegas. There is the 93 on your screen. I believe that is Rollins. Ty Torkelson in the 44, the green 44 ahead of them from Alaska. And the 57 also getting some laps in on this run. That's William James. And there's Rollins on your screen in that 93 car. Looks like the 93's got some work to do. Currently scored at 18th place. Good to see this guy at the racetrack, and they brought 2 cars with them on this trip. That is Matt Hillhouse. We've seen Matt at all of our national events this year, working over there with Mullins Motorsports and JT Poole and all them, but also have a second car on the racetrack, and I believe it is Tim Martin that they've got. There's a bunch of 15 cars out here in this group as well. Mr. Martin is actually in the infield, Hillhouse's teammate, but good to see Matt here. They're still working on some stuff. Have had an okay season. Hillhouse currently 16th on the board. There's the 30 below. That is Doug Sheldon. Got a couple of drivers from Alaska representing Alaska Raceway Park. Good to see Doug here from Anchorage, working with RGR, Robert Gayton. Robert's been doing some racing as well, obviously on the road course side. One of our road course aces when it comes to legend car competition. Good to see Robert and his team here with 3 race cars entered as a part of the 150 that are here. So that group comes to a close. That's 21 total masters. We'll roll the next group to the racetrack momentarily. I want to say hello to Michael Clark, who's cheering on the Georgia boys. Look at that beautiful shot. The mountains in the background. That is off at turn number 1 and 2. And got some more as well as you work towards the big track in 3 and 4. Again, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Lots to do on this property. Obviously, the NASCAR Cup Series and their touring divisions were here a couple of weeks ago. Got a dirt track, got the strip, and in behind us is the road course where they run Silver State, as we got one car around on the back straightaway. I believe that's Earhart in the 31 that's around on the back straightaway. Yeah, Great North Legends 31 of Earhart around. But in behind where Mr. Earhart went for a spin is the road course. They run Silver State. The Silver State schedule is out. Apparently, we got some Chevrolets out there on the racetrack. We'll remind you, coming up in 2026, we're back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We're back in Las Vegas, and it is the return for Road Course World Finals, October 30 to November 1. Configuration of track to be announced, obviously, in 3 days of on-track action. There is the Las Vegas Motor Speedway big track behind us, the Hoosier Tire Compound in turn number 3, and then you see the cars whizzing by just ahead. So car 59 works its way, leading a pack of 4 out of the 4th corner. That's Josh Wharton in the 59. This session is currently led, and it's got a new leader. It's the 15 of Scott Mosley to the top of the board. Mosley in the white 15. That's in turn 3, is your fastest car so far. Darrell Stewart, which was in our last group, I believe, is second quick. Ryan Phipps, James Price, and Josh Mullins, your top 5. And I believe this Masters division is pushing 40 cars as well, so the B-Mains will be quite entertaining on Saturday. Qualifying is going to be entertaining to see which 20 lock in to the show. And again, 12:30 Pacific approximately. So they're going to start with practice a little bit early. They're going to run one round of practice, and then they're going to go straight into qualifying, give or take maybe a couple of moments just to regroup. But again, our scheduled airtime on US Legend Cars TV is 12:30 Pacific. If you don't have your subscription yet, head on over to uslegendcars.tv. Not only do you get to watch tomorrow and Saturday with your active subscription, but vast library of US Legend Car events that we've covered from coast to coast as the white flag flies on this group. There is the white 15-second car in line there. That is Scott Mosley. That is your quickest driver in this session as they'll come to the checkered flag. So the checkered flag flies. That's the 19 of Chris Winham in that white 19 that was in that shot as well, currently 26th. There is...
You got to pay attention, too. I can't do everything for you.
One of the most... I think in line, potentially, or at least in the running for Tech Inspector of the Year, Ed Owens.
Next group of masters to the racetrack.
And Ed doesn't usually have a whole lot of time to rest, so this is a rare shot of Ed Owens taking in, and big smile on his face. Always good to see Ed at these events. I believe a couple of his Tech Inspector friends are in the flag stand with Bubbles Bronson as well. I didn't know Bubbles had friends, but apparently he does. So while Ed is there, he's got some friends up in the flag stand. It's a good place to hang out. Beautiful view of the racetrack.
That will be one to green this time.
Those Tech Inspectors, though, especially with 150 race cars, doing a phenomenal job making sure that everybody is safe on these race cars, playing by the rules, and their work ramps up, obviously, with post-race technical inspection on Saturday to make sure that everybody is even keel with the rules. The green flag flies in session number 4, group number 4. This will put us, I believe, at 39 cars that have taken time with us in this 4th round of practice. Robbie Sawyer was that 7 car that you saw on your screen. And how about the 77 car? That is Doug Stevens back behind the wheel. The Georgia driver, always a contender when we come to an event like this. As Nellis Air Force Base behind us, another jet coming into land. We can tell you that David Mayhew in the 17 has gone to the top of the board in this session. Doug Stevens is 3rd. There's Scott Anderson. There's the 17, orange 17 of David Mayhew, and behind Zeke Hanger. Hanger obviously picked up a couple of really good finishes at Winter Nationals back at Auburndale Speedway in the month of February as these two go at it. There is the 8 car, and that should be Robbie Faggart in the 8. Beautiful looking race car. Very clean looking race car for Mr. Faggart. And looking down the list here, looks like they've got a little bit of work to do to get that car a little bit quicker as Mayhew continues to hold court up top. Zeke Hanger has gone to position number 4. Scott Anderson has gone to 5th. So a couple of quick drivers in this group of practice. And a couple of laps left still to go as Mayhew steps it up a little bit to a 16.67. 16.67. Quickest time for David Mayhew in car number 17. White flag from Bubbles Bronson. Final lap in this one. And there is the quickest driver on track, even though Doug Stevens just threw his best effort, as did Scott Anderson. See if Mayhew has anything left for a quicker lap. Checkered flag, and it stays at a 67. Rest of the field comes by. Doug Stevens not going to go quicker. Scott Anderson, not going to go quicker. So it appears to be that David Mayhew will be the fastest old man in the field.
Masters, cross them out.
Take a look at the replay here, and this is where some practice gets a little close. That's Sawin in the 4, a little sideways, trying to avoid that inside yellow line with the 7 of Sawyer to the outside, and those are the 11th and 12th quickest cars in that group. So 39 taking time as you see them come off the racetrack. Alani Mixon looking for Matt Hillhouse's autograph. I guess he's famous after a little bit of TV time with us on U.S. Legend Cars TV. But again, they are putting in a lot of effort back there. Spent some time with Mullins Motorsports and them earlier today, and they are putting in some time back there in that pit area. Charlotte Dibble, good luck to Robert Gayton Racing. We're cheering you on as you see the pro points on the screen. The top two are Jacob Burns and Jensen Jorgensen. That's a rematch from last year. And they went at it last year. Jacob Burns, I chatted with both of them earlier today. Jacob Burns has a more, they had a more comfortable point lead with the Nicholas Scola team last year at Dominion than they do here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Jensen Jorgensen has been here before, 3 points back. And Joel Smith still involved in it. Again, 30 points is a long way to go with those two up there. But again, lots of pros here and a lot of moving parts. Keep saying it. Everything can happen when we go racing with this division. I believe the Chargers are going to be up next for practice. Bubbles Bronson has a festive dad joke to start off our racing action. Why are vampires easily fooled? They're suckers. Did he just laugh at his own joke? Yeah, maybe he did. Okay. You've got Anthony Steffens laughing, which is a very low bar to hit. We will have some dad jokes throughout, and I can guarantee you, folks, if you're watching us on U.S. Legend Cars TV later on in the weekend, it does get better, trust me. I go into my dad joke library. That's how it gets better. So here is a change. This is not Jesse Martinez. You might say, okay, 5X, it's Jesse's car. It looks like Jesse. It is not. That is Addison Martinez in the 5X. I asked Jesse earlier, I said, so why the change? You know, Addison wants to get some laps in. And as long as they can keep this car in one piece and bring it back in the Chargers division, and again, obviously get some laps in, that is the main goal of this Chargers division. These are the drivers that are newer to Legend Car Racing. So we see some names and see some drivers that are not necessarily new to us at U.S. Legend Cars TV, but making that move. There's the 99 on the screen of Matthew Leslie Kubot. We've seen Matthew in a Bandolero car at some of our national events. Matthew McMillan in the 57, the white 57, just ahead of Matthew as they get their laps in. 000 of Lincoln Johnson moves up to position number 2. There's the 6 of Jagger Parker. And if you remember back to the Nashville Spring Series, that was when Jagger was running the bright orange number 6 and had some really good races in that car. In behind is the 21 of Willie Howells, the driver from Ontario. Couple of races in now in Ontario in that Mitch Wright prepared race car. There's the 5, little sideways there down into turn number 1. That's Caitlin Ford. 000, that is Lincoln Johnson. The Wisconsin drivers racing under the Landon Rapp banner, and Landon told me earlier there's going to be some bandoleros come out of that trailer when we do go Bandolero racing on Saturday as well. So some of these youngsters going to be very busy in between, you know, a young lion in a bando or a charger in a bando on Saturday. It's Asphalt Nationals for Legend Cars. Obviously, the focus is on the Legend Car, but we do have a Bandolero feature with us on Saturday. Chloe Mazzagotti's cheering on Chase Bohannon. Bohannon currently fourth in the 88 car in this session, just, I believe, maybe going down into turn at number 1 and 2. That is the 32 of Simon Klein on your screen, currently 6 quick.
Checkers out.
Ben Freiberger is watching from Walkerton, Ontario. Ashton Rhodes wants to know, have the Young Lions practiced yet? Yet they were first in line in our practice coverage. Once again, for all the racing action this weekend, Friday and Saturday, Profab qualifying day on Friday, and then Saturday is the National Championship events for the Legend Cars. Got some B-mains in there as well. USLegendCars.tv is the place to go, showing you a little bit of practice.
All right, first group of pro to the racetrack. First group of pro to the racetrack.
So we'll remind you as well, if you're watching us on our practice coverage, we will show you who is racing in this pro division, and then that will be the end of our coverage for this afternoon. As you see, the pro points once again, top 2 have that realistic opportunity to leave Vegas with a national championship in Jacob Burns, last year's national champion, and Jensen Jorgensen, a name who is and a driver who has won several major events across the country. And Joel Smith in the blue 24 car has a shot. Lots of moving parts. 30 points behind Jacob Burns. There's Jacob Burns on our screen, the Nick Lascola Racing entry. And he's been doing some racing outside of Legend Cars, doing some late model stuff and what have you, and doing fairly well with what he's been able to accomplish this season. And you see it on your screen, 19 wins, 25 races. And there is a stat, top 5s, 25 of them in 25 races, as he tries to make the way by Eisenheimer in the black number 12. There's Cameron Murray on your screen in the 04. That is the 04 to the inside there. We call that a gray, maybe a little bit of a green mixed in. Beautiful looking color on that. That's the 2 car ahead of them, of Austin Thompson, currently top of the board in the white number 2 car. Always a contender and always shows up for these big races. There's your 2 car on your screen. Currently now second quick is Colton Page in the 24P, moves to the top of the board. So the first group of pros on the racetrack for this 4th round. There's the driver from Bakersfield, California. Was top of the board. Austin Thompson's moved back. Jacob Burns in second. Colton Page has now moved back to third. And again, we talk about the quality of race cars, the quantity of race cars as well. As we got one from the Irwin Racing Camp down to the bottom. That's Devin Clayton, I believe, in the 77. Was slow at a turn number 4 that last time and is going to put it into the infield. I think they're going to have a couple more rounds of practice after we go off air to kind of dial in their race cars. This practice is scheduled to go until 6 p.m. local. We're currently at 3 p.m. local, so obviously they are going to have a few more rounds to get in. If you budget about an hour or so per round, they should have another 3 or so, depending on how the time works in. There's Cameron Murray in that beautiful 04 car. Depending on the way the sun shines on, it's kind of got a green glimmer to it. Beautiful looking race car there. A little loose at a turn number 2 that time as he hustles that thing up out of the corner. Checkered flag on this group from Bubbles Bronson. Dirk Henry in the 3 car.
Pros to the racetrack. Next group of pros to the racetrack.
As they complete their practice run. So Austin Thompson, Colton Page, Jacob Burns, Derek Henry, and Cameron Murray. And there's the 316 camp. They are busy with a couple of championship contenders this weekend. Rhodes looking for a national championship in Young Lions, a couple more being pushed back, and they will head over to the staging area for their next practice. And there is the 9 car. Brody having a conversation with the team. That is one of our drivers that is fighting for that Young Lions National Championship. And
all right, we'll be 1 to green.
we talk about that Young Lions Championship. When we talked to Brody earlier,
8-lap session.
there's 3 drivers that are involved that have maxed out on points. There's a couple of others that have a shot. But when you look at those 3,
Green,
Taylor Mayhew may have the home track or home area advantage. But Brody Rhodes has been doing a lot of racing and doing a lot of successful racing this year as Brody heads to the staging area. There is the 87 car. Started off the season with a pro championship at Winter Nationals at Auburndale Speedway. Couple of points out from where he wanted to be in the national chase, but still here with the MPM cars. That is the driver from beautiful Port Williams, Nova Scotia. That is Danny Chisholm behind the wheel of the 87 car. And it's got that theme. We talk about these drivers being creative with their schemes. There's some poker chips on the side of that car. I believe there's a slot machine on the back of it as well. There is one of our title contenders. And it's Jensen Jorgensen. Jorgensen comes in 3 points in behind the driver from Georgia. 15 wins this season. And has that optimistic and positive outlook heading in to this final race at the Bullring. They were here testing last weekend to try to dial this thing in. And Jensen's currently 6th, about halfway through this group. Rusbarski in the 51 goes to the top of the board over Danny Chisholm, Nick Woodall, Austin Thompson, and Colton Page. Your top 5 through 21 pro competitors. There's Nick Woodall on your screen, teammate to Jensen Jorgensen. And Jensen has moved to 4th on that last lap by, so Woodall and Jorgensen got it a little bit of speed inside those 2 race cars. There's the 9 of Michael Crafton. Crafton's got some work to do, 19th quick, and there's Rusbarski to the bottom side in the 51. Currently top of the board on this Pro Division practice. Woodall got a little bit quicker that last time by at a 16:63, 16:59 lap of record for Rusbarski up top of the board. Brandon White moves into the top 5. Danny Chisholm moves to the top of the board. And on your screen is Boston Oliver in the 88. Boston is 14th quick, the driver from Tennessee. As the white flag flies, final lap for this group. There is the 19, Brandon White, currently in 4th. In this group, the driver from California. And Danny Chisholm will lead the Pro Division field after this group of practice. The 87 car goes to a 16:56. Final couple laps making their way across the board.
Staging, semi-pro to staging. Young Lions and semi-pro to staging for round 5. Next group of pros to the racetrack.
And again, lots of race cars in this pit area. A lot of teams getting their work done.
This is the final group of pros.
And as Brad Hockaday states, this is the final group of pros. So these are the final few moments on our look-in. Team going to work there on the 18 car. In the background, you can see the Mullins camp. See JT Poole and his father Mark going to work on that blue 26 car.
Green here on the 24.
They move some cars around there in behind.
Drivers, remember, this will be a
There's Josh Mullins.
8-lap session after you take the checkered exit to the infield.
Looking over those race cars. Trying to get them a little bit quicker. And as we mentioned, when we go off air, there's still going to be a few rounds of practice for these drivers to kind of work on their race cars, get them just that wee bit quicker for Friday and Saturday's racing competition here at the Bullring. Green flag on Joel Smith in the 24. Blue 24, Joel Smith has an outside opportunity to pick up a national championship. Tyler Corcoran and Robert Zubb in the 05 come by to get their first returns. Joel Smith moves to 14th quickest on lap number 1. Matt Barrett in the 99 moves up to 11. There's Joel Smith on your screen, third in national points, 11. Feature wins this season in 35 racing events for the 24 car. Doesn't pay anything to win practice, but if they're trying to get to the top of the board, they need to get a 16:56 or a little bit quicker than that to top Danny Chisholm in car number 87. This is a beautiful looking 15 car. We talked about the car color maybe changing a little bit as it goes through the sun. That's Davis Jacobson in the 15 car. Got to take a look at that one while strolling through the pits. Beautiful looking race car and a different color than we're used to seeing from some of these drivers. I believe the 6 is Tyler Hicks, currently 19th quick. As about halfway through this final group of pros. Cole Brown in the 04. As they come back across the line. Tanner Reif in the 35. Currently 18th quick. Reif going to try to get a little bit more speed out of that race car here in the final couple of moments of this pro practice. White flag flies, final lap here. As the field works down the back straightaway, and they will come to the checkered flag this time from Bubbles Bronson, and that will conclude this pro division practice. And that will conclude this round of practice. And I believe if you actually look at the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man in the pits, it is the same color as Bubbles Bronson's shirt. So I believe, I don't know if we can get picture in picture, but if you look at both of these, I think they're pretty well the same person. I haven't actually seen them in the same place together, so they actually might be the same person. But again, that will conclude our round of practice.
Our drivers back in the plenary, young line and semi-pro.
Look at that. See,
young line and semi-pro.
And we have it on our screen now. Again, you haven't seen these people in the same place. You do now. So maybe cousins, distant cousins. Bubbles Bronson and the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man.
First group of young lions.
Distant cousins.
First group of young lions to the racetrack.
And you know what? This is the fun we're going to have all weekend on U.S. Legend Cars TV. That's going to do it for our coverage here of practice. Come on back tomorrow. We're going to have some more fun. It's Pro Fabrication Qualifying Day, heat races and qualifying for all divisions. We'll lock the top 20 in each division into Saturday, and then the Bassett Fastest Qualifier Challenge will run for a trophy later on in the afternoon tomorrow. Approximate qualifying time at 12:30, airtime at 12:30. Keep tabs on uslegendcars.tv for when we do go on air. That's going to do it for our practice coverage here on U.S. Legend Cars TV. On behalf of our entire production crew, my name is Tim Terry, the voice of the Fort Garry Industries Maritime Pro Stock Tour. We will see you on Friday. Until then, keep the hammer down, and we'll see you at the track.
Green. Coming to green number 4.